are really something special. Halloween is the perfect occasion to get creative and a little playful with your sweet treats. And my Witch's Cauldron cake pops, well, they're gonna cast a spell over your Halloween party. So I dip my cake pops in melted chocolate. I'm measuring out a pound of chocolate. You can use bittersweet or semi-sweet here. I do like to weigh my chocolate. That way I know I'm getting exactly the amount I need. And I'll place these over a pot of barely simmering water and let the steam do all the work, melting the chocolate. I'll let it melt for a second first and then give it a stir and stir gently until it's nice and smooth. All right. I like to transfer my chocolate to a more shallow bowl. That way, when I dip my cake pops in, it'll cover them easily and completely. While I let the chocolate cool for a bit, I can get the cake pops ready. I've got 18 mini cupcakes, half a recipe of what I made earlier. I'm gonna drop them into a bowl. Obviously, peel off the paper. I will warn you, for this part of the recipe, get ready to get messy. All right, now for the frosting. And you can be precise if you want, but I just loosely measure 3/4 of a cup of my Swiss buttercream. The best thing to do to squish your cake and frosting together, you just gotta get in there with your hands. I think someone under the age of 10 who wants to get geared up for Halloween would probably take on this job. So now, to scoop the cake pops, just use that handy ice cream scoop again. Scoop your little cake frosting combo and shape them into truffle-sized little pieces. I find I get about 24 little cake pops. So I'll cover these up and pop them in the freezer. You definitely want to give these a few hours. I say just make them a day ahead. And in addition to freezing the cake pop balls, I also freeze a baking tray that I've lined with parchment paper. That way, when the cake pops are dipped in the chocolate and I put them on the tray, they'll set up quickly. So what I need is my cake pop kit here. Oh, it's getting colorful. So I have your standard lollipop sticks, and then take your frozen cake pop balls, and you'll feel it's firm, but yet you can still drop in that lollipop stick. Then what you do, take your now cool chocolate, give it a good dunk. The cauldron needs a top to it, so I actually drop them on the baking tray flat. You will find when you're dipping your cake pops in the chocolate, you won't go through all of that chocolate, but you have to melt more than you need, so that way cake pops are easily covered in the chocolate. All right, these just need another minute to set, and that gives me just enough time to do my frosting tinting. So I have that remainder of my Swiss buttercream. Let me divide this up between my two bowls. I'm gonna switch spatulas here. Go for nice little ones. I'm using food coloring paste because it's easier to control the coloring, and a little goes a long way. So here's my green. There we go. That's green and ghoulish looking. Now for the orange. Give it a stir. All right, I've got a few more tricks up my sleeve to make these treats absolutely spooktacular. First thing, you have to plan what you're gonna put your assembled cake pops in. If you have access to a pumpkin or squash, just drill a few holes in it, and then you've got somewhere to place your assembled cake pops. Now, for the piping bags, for the perfect flame, I use a small leaf tip. Fill my piping bag with orange frosting. That's ready to go. And for the potion, I use a small plain tip. And when you pipe it, it kind of looks like bubbling goo coming out of the cauldron. And the finishing touch, some odd bits coming out of your potion. And in this case, I'm using some strangely colored jelly beans. So put on your favorite spooky music and pipe away. So I like to paint my flames first, and you start at the base and work your way around. And then for the potion, there's no technique here. The messier, the better. And then on go a couple jelly beans. And there it is, a witch's cauldron cake pop. Once you have your cake pops assembled, you do want to store them in the fridge. But when it's time to serve, they can sit out for quite some time. These are as much fun to make as they are to eat. Oh, adorable. I love seeing kids' faces when they just jump right into one of these cauldrons. And now I've got you spooked with mummies and with witches' cauldrons, but you know what we're missing? Spiders. And you are gonna love my spider macaron. At the base of that spooky treat, a classic